Well, this is about to blow your mind. The internet sleuths are at it again, and it is unbelievable. So last night I was scrolling through YouTube and I came across a channel, and I don't think I'm gonna show the channel in this video. I'll do it in another one, but I definitely want to give them credit. This guy is a wealth of knowledge about all these different PR things. He has so many things about Ryan and Blake Lively. It's so much to unpack. I've been trying to gather receipts. But then as I started researching his video, I came across this TikToker. Now, this TikTok video came out the same day that this other guy put out his information. So I don't know who had it first, but I will link both below so you can follow along. But I want you to listen to this, and then we're going to get into some more details. It's wild. Buckle up. And this also shows, let me just say this, why Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift are intertwined in a way that is going to be absolutely devastating, not only to Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, but to Taylor Swift, because they are their business connections, the things that Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds know about Taylor Swift. She's walking on dangerous ground if she tries to back away from them, because they can reveal a lot of receipts. And we know if Justin Baldoni's lawyer gets a hold of any of this, and everyone starts to put pieces together, this is when I tell you, this is not only hitting all the studios, Disney, Marvel, Sony, WME, the talent agency. This goes into State Farm. This goes to the NFL. There's a lot of hands in this, but let's get into it.
Relationship between Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift always felt a bit off. What if I told you that I think I have proof that this is not only a fake relationship, but a multi-level marketing insurance scheme? Now, if you watch the NFL, you notice a very specific commercial that plays at every single ad break. And no matter what the context of the ad is, it's always a State Farm ad. Now, we know that the NFL has a relationship with State Farm, and they've had one since about 2004, for over 20 years. But specifically, they've had one with the Kansas City Chiefs just over the last couple. And here is where things start to get weird. Now, we know that State Farm, like the rest of the country, is fully aware of the relationship between Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. But knowing something isn't capitalizing off of it. So one day, as a publicity stunt, Jake from State Farm linked up with Donna Kelce, Travis Kelce's mom, and it did exactly what it was supposed to do. It caught a lot of media attention, and nobody was really thinking anything of it. But I wanted to look into who set this up. And after just doing like a little bit of digging, it turns out that this media agency, Maximum Effort, was the ones who set this up. And their co-founder is Ryan Reynolds. So it was him that helped set up Donna Kelce with Jake from State Farm to help State Farm capitalize off the relationship between Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. And that one mistake opened up the floodgates into the rest of this investigation. You see, I started getting curious as to when this relationship first started, or even who first reported it. When I stumbled across this tweet that seems to be the earliest tweet talking about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's relationship, the one that broke the story. And then I saw this link, so I decided, let's just click it. And when I did, it brought me to this torn down URL website that read The Messenger. So I got curious and I wondered, what was The Messenger? And well, as it turns out, that The Messenger is the one who broke the news about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, and which I thought that was weird. So I looked into The Messenger, and it only turned out that they had only opened 4 months prior to breaking this news. And I was thinking to myself, how did a brand new publication have the inside scoop on the #1 pop star in the world? Somebody who spends millions of dollars a year on security. There's no way that this brand new publication got that inside scoop, until I looked into who owns The Messenger. And that's when I ran into a man named Jimmy Finkelstein, who owns and started the publication, who recently sold another publication for $130 million.
Now, that other publication is The Hill. So if you don't know what The Hill is, it's an online kind of like the Daily Beast or the Huffington Post, I would say. And they also have a channel on YouTube, but they deal only in political commentary. I actually watch The Hill all the time. There's a whole backstory to that, but I just wanted to put that out there. They're big on YouTube. You can look them up, and that's where Jimmy Finkelstein comes from.
You see, the weirdest part about this publication, that it just broke this news about the world's biggest pop star just 4 months prior, 4 months after opening, is that only 4 months after that, they shut down completely, only lasting 8 months. So then I thought to myself, man, if I was Mr. Finkelstein, I'd be really angry. So I started looking up Mr. Finkelstein's statements on why the publication shut down, only to find out that it costed $50 million to start. Oh my God, I'd be so mad if it was $50 million that I used of my own money. That's the weird thing. See, it turned out after doing some digging that it was actually started by 5 donors that gave about $10 million each. First one is Josh Harris, or co-founder of Apollo Global, an investment firm that manages over $600 billion in assets. And it was his company who back in 2016 acquired ADT for about $7 billion. And then in 2022, State Farm acquired 15% equity ownership worth $1.2 billion in ADT. And I can go on and on about the other 4 founders that started the publication that got the inside scoop that's only 4 months old that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce were together. But no matter what road.
And one of the owners, which he does not mention, Dan Snyder, the former owner of the Washington, well, it was the Washington Redskins, and it became the Commanders, and I think now they're going back to the Redskins. I don't have that confirmed, but that's what the news has been. So Dan Snyder no longer owns it, thank God. I grew up in the DC area, just so you know, so he is a much hated figure because it is blamed on him on why the Commanders have lost so much throughout the years. And finally, when he no longer has ownership, oh, you're seeing the Commanders do better, but we'll continue.
What road you take, they all have invested interest in hundreds of billions of dollars in State Farm. And that's not even the craziest part. See, every time I Googled Finkelstein, a woman named Pamela Gross Finkelstein would pop up. And the name next to it, every single time, was Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds' wife and best friends with Taylor Swift. So you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, State Farm gains a lot out of this. They get free publication, they get Taylor Swift, they get the NFL, they get Travis Kelce. But what does Taylor Swift and the NFL get out of being possibly a part in all this? Well, while I was researching for another video, I had noticed that every single time I had clicked on Taylor Swift's music video, no matter which one it was, a State Farm ad would play behind it every single time, which is very strange because if you know anything about YouTube advertisement is that you know it's always supposed to be completely random. So here is my theory. I think
so before he gets into his theory, just know that changed. It was no longer a State Farm ad right before the Super Bowl. I'm not going to give you that tea now, but we've got to go down that rabbit hole in another video.
State Farm and the NFL approached the biggest pop star in the world and said, hey, we need to make more money. Taylor Swift came back and said, okay, cool, but how are we going to push that to the public? She then brought the idea to Ryan Reynolds, absolute marketing genius, who also owns a marketing agency, and he came up with an absolute game-changing plan. You got to make people care here. So he set up Jake from State Farm with Donna Kelce, and then the wheels started turning. Ryan then brought that whole idea to his wife, Blake Lively, and she said, hey, wait, I think I know a guy. Yeah, I became good friends with this billionaire's wife back a couple years ago in 2011 when she came to a party of mine to honor me. The wife had nothing to lose, so Blake, Ryan, the wife, and Taylor Swift all brought it to this dude and said, hey, we need somebody to put this out there. And he said, hey, I sold my company for $130 million months ago. I mean, yeah, sure, I'll do it, but I'm not gonna do it with my own money. State Farm then said, and we can help with that. 5 founders then got together and created The Messenger. 4 months later, they then organically threw this out there. 4 months after that, he played his role and he just shut this down. Taylor then possibly approached State Farm, or State Farm then possibly approached Taylor and said, hey, there's literally no way I'd be able to pay you this amount of money up front. You are way too big of an artist. Instead, why don't you just let us put our ad in front of every single one of your videos? We'll give you about 90 to 100% of the ad revenue. You'll get paid throughout the entire time that we have your ads on our videos, and we'll be promoted. And so now you might be asking, okay, cool, all these people gain so much, but the main player here is the NFL. So what do they gain in doing any of this? The NFL has made about $1 billion since Travis and Taylor started dating due to viewership and jersey sales. And since in 2010, the NFL had changed from a sports league to an entertainment company, as to cover any legal corners. So what would hurt putting them through the playoffs to the Super Bowl to keep the viewership high all season long because of Taylor? Well, the answer is nothing. But maybe it's just all.
So he's just saying maybe it's just all made up or whatever. So he just walked you through that. There was a lot of information, but I want to add a few more receipts to what he just said. So as I began researching this, and there's a lot of pieces, so I'm going to have to cover it in multiple videos. But if you go into this, I started to see that, okay, it's shut down, but I was thinking, okay, it's just a shell type of company. No, it was a real company that they started. So much so that, look at this, the messenger sued by ex workers over mass layoffs. Hundreds of workers at the national digital news site were laid off Thursday without severance. It is a class action. I haven't gone into it. I don't know if it's settled already or anything else. Let me make this text bigger so you guys can follow along with what I'm going to go through. Just days after folding, embattled startup The Messenger has been sued by former employees. The proposed class action filed in New York federal court Thursday alleges that Jimmy Finkelstein led news outlet failed to give more than 300 employees proper notice of their terminations in violation of the state's Worker Adjustment and Retraining Notification Act, which requires at least 90 days notice of mass layoffs. Workers at the Messenger discovered Wednesday the company was shutting down for good from the New York Times. Hours later, did you guys see that? Workers at the Messenger discovered Wednesday the company was shutting down for good from the New York Times. They weren't even notified that the company was shutting down. That's how ruthless these people are. Um, Hours later, the site only returned a white screen with the messenger and an email address, which that guy showed in his video. No articles could be searched. Employees are not receiving severance. The suit brought by producer Pilar Belindes Desha and seeks to represent all former workers impacted by the terminations. It seeks to recover up to 60 days of unpaid wages and benefits. The complaint notes that the ex-workers were terminated without cause as a foreseeable result of mass layoffs. So that gives a little bit more about the Warren Act and all of that, those other things. But let me show you something else. There are a lot of different articles, interviews this guy gave. This was a huge scandal that reached, it had tendrils everywhere that I don't think anyone noticed if you weren't in this type of industry. But I came across this Vanity Fair article, just one of many, and it says how Jimmy Finkelstein wooed me to the Messenger and left me high and dry. I have yet to receive a promised severance following the media startup's abrupt collapse, which left hundreds of us without jobs. Now, I'm not going to go into all these details. Again, like I said, I'm going to bring you more, but I think this is the start of showing just how fake this relationship was. Even this whole thing where he gave her his number, Travis Kelce gave Taylor Swift his number on a friendship bracelet. Like, it just sounds too like made up. It sounds like a script. It sounds like a movie. Like why would he know that? How could he know that? And I've got to dig all into those things. So guys, make sure you're subscribed here and you're also following me on social media. All of my links will be below, but especially X, so I update the most. But also, if you want to support the work that we're doing here and the research, it takes a lot to just comb through a lot of this stuff. One way you can do that is by going to realmelanieking.com. The link will be below directly to my team Justin merch. Again, as we collect these receipts, things are not looking good for Blake Lively's team and Ryan Reynolds' team, and certainly not Taylor Swift. So, but I wanted to show you really quickly. I have my Justice Dragon merch. I have it in a mug. I have it in a shirt, in lilac, a pillow that's double-sided, and also in white. Then I also have It Ends with Court, a play on It Ends with Us. And again, same type of thing. I have it in a mug, in the lilac shirt and the white. If you want to pick up any of those things, you can go to realmelanieking.com. It will be at the top of the description box as well as the pinned comment. And I've got to go do some digging. So I will see you guys on the next one.